Do you know how long it takes to send a text message? We can type, edit, delete, and retype, then tap send, all in less than a minute. But in the early days of computing, sending a single coded message took hours, even with the help of an adding machine. It wasn't until the advent of computers that people began to realize how much information they were missing out on every day. In fact, before the electronic era, many pieces of critical information never made it to its destination in time. Sometimes whole shipments of supplies would be lost at sea because of faulty signals. Millions of dollars were wasted when military ships traveled the wrong course. And sometimes people who were trying to do good accidentally caused great harm. But after the advent of computers, nearly every aspect of daily life changed for the better. As these machines became smaller, cheaper, and easier to use, more and more people gained access to them. At first, computers were primarily used for complex calculations like those needed in scientific research or engineering projects. But as time went on, their capabilities expanded exponentially. Before long, almost every business, government agency, and private individual had their own personal computer. Today, they're so common that we don't even think about how much they've changed our world. But while the general public has enjoyed all the benefits of computers, few know about the people whose ideas brought them into existence. A man named Alan Turing was one of the first people to realize the potential of computers, and he worked tirelessly to make them a reality. He is considered by many to be the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence, but he isn't well known outside academic circles. In this video, we'll look at some little-known facts about Alan Turing and the strange detail that almost nobody noticed. So get ready to learn about one of the most important people you've never heard of. Before we start, be sure to hit the like button for more videos of this kind. During World War II, Alan Turing and his team cracked the Enigma code. This breakthrough not only shortened the war, but also laid the foundation for modern computers. But what does that mean? What was so special about breaking the Enigma code? And why do we owe so much to this seemingly ordinary man? To answer these questions, we need to go back to the beginning of World War II. At that time, Germany had developed a new encryption machine called Enigma. This machine scrambled any message typed into it so that it could be read by anyone who intercepted it. The British knew that if they could break the code, they would have an invaluable tool for winning the war. So they recruited some of the brightest minds in the country to work on the problem. One of these people was Alan Turing. Using paper, pencil, and adding machine, Turing and his colleagues spent months trying to decipher messages produced by the Enigma code. They made little progress until Turing came up with a better way of doing things. He realized that if he could build a machine that imitated the Enigma, he could easily crack its codes. This may sound like science fiction, but it was actually a stroke of genius. With this approach, Turing was able to build a machine called a bomb that could test thousands of possible messages. In just minutes, it was this machine that finally allowed the British to read German communications. After the war, Turing continued to work on ways of improving computers. He helped design the Manchester Mark I, which is widely regarded as the first store program computer. He also did pioneering work in artificial intelligence and wrote what is now considered to be the first computer program. In the following decades, computers became smaller, cheaper, and easier to use. They soon found their way into homes, offices, and schools around the world. Few people today remember that it was men like Alan Turing who made all this possible. Now let's take a closer look at one of the most overlooked aspects of the story. When Turing and his team first began trying to crack the Enigma code, they had no idea how to do it. All they knew was that the Germans were using a machine that was capable of generating billions of different combinations. This meant that brute force methods wouldn't work. They would have to come up with something new. As it turned out, Turing was up to the task. He and his colleagues eventually developed a way to build a replica of the Enigma machine. With this, they could input plain text and see what it looked like once it had been scrambled by the Enigma. From there, It was just a matter of feeding enough messages through the machine until they found one that matched the original text. This process was slow and tedious, but it worked. Before long, Turing and his team were able to decode all kinds of German messages. It wasn't easy, though. For one thing, the Enigma machine was constantly being improved. By 1941, for example, it could produce more than 150 million possible settings. This meant that the British had to keep up with the Germans' advances or risk falling behind. To do this, they set up a special department at Bletchley Park, which was staffed by some of the best mathematicians and engineers in the country. Another challenge was keeping the work at Bletchley Park secret. If the Germans had found out that the British were reading their messages, they would have taken steps to prevent it. This meant that Turing and his team had to be extremely careful about who knew what they were up to. In fact, the work at Bletchley Park was classified for more than 25 years. Despite these challenges, Turing and his team succeeded in breaking the Enigma code. This gave the British a huge advantage in the war and is believed to have saved countless lives. After the war, Turing continued to work on ways of improving computers. He helped design the Manchester Mark I, which is widely regarded as the first store program computer. He also did pioneering work in artificial intelligence and wrote what is now considered to be the first computer program. In the following decades, computers became smaller, cheaper, and easier to use. They soon found their way into homes, offices, and schools around the world. Few people today remember that it was men like Alan Turing who made all this possible. When asked about the significance of cracking the Enigma code, Turing replied, "We could not have won the war without it. Do you ever wonder how long it would take you to find a needle in a haystack? How about if the haystack contained billions of needles?" That is the challenge facing code breakers during World War II as they try to decipher messages encoded by the German Enigma machine. The Germans used the Enigma machine to encrypt all kinds of information, from military plans to diplomatic communications. This made it very difficult for the Allies to gather intelligence on the enemy. But one man was up to the task of breaking the code. Alan Turing was a brilliant mathematician who had already made a name for himself by solving some of the most difficult problems in the field. When the war broke out, he left academia to join the British effort to break the Enigma code. Working with a team of fellow code breakers, Turing developed a new approach to attacking the problem. Instead of trying to decipher messages by brute force, he figured out a way to build a machine that could imitate the Enigma. With this machine, called a bomb, Turing and his colleagues could input plain text and see what it looked like once it had been scrambled by the Enigma. From there, it was just a matter of feeding enough messages through the machine until they found one that matched the original text. This process was slow and tedious, but it worked. Before long, Turing and his team were able to decode all kinds of German messages. As impressive as Turing's work was, it remained classified for many years. It wasn't until the 1970s that the full story of how the Enigma code was broken began to emerge. Even today, we are still uncovering new details about this amazing feat of code breaking. One of the most interesting aspects of the story is the way that Turing and his team managed to keep their work secret. If the Germans had found out that the British were reading their messages, they would have taken steps to prevent it. This meant that Turing and his colleagues had to be extremely careful about who knew what they were up to. In fact, the work at Bletchley Park was classified for more than 25 years. Another fascinating aspect of the story is the impact that breaking the Enigma code had on the outcome of the war. According to some estimates, the British were able to shorten the war by 2 years by reading German messages. This saved countless lives and prevented billions of dollars worth of damage. Despite the importance of his work, Turing was not recognized for his contributions until relatively late in life. He was awarded a knighthood in 1946, but it was not until 1951 that he was given a peerage. Even then, he was not allowed to sit in the House of Lords and debate legislation. He died in 1954 at the age of 41. Having never received the recognition he deserved for his contributions to mathematics and computer science. Turing's story is an important reminder that not all heroes receive the recognition they deserve during their lifetime. It is also a testament to the power of the human mind and the importance of investing in basic research. Who knows what other amazing discoveries await us in the future, if we are willing to support the scientists and mathematicians who make them possible. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet without Turing? That might have been our reality. If you enjoyed this glimpse into history's hidden heroes, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shaped our world. And don't forget to stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching.